We need to bring light to the issue.
Diversity is still an issue that we're not finished, we're not done.
The left has hijacked this game.
5 of the 8 fired coaches were black, and so far, none of the coaches hired to replace them is black.
We know it's not going to be an equal playing field when it comes to minorities and others.
Okay.
They'll never get that kind of chance.
What can the league do to fix the Rooney Rule?
We have to make sure we continue to get exposure for them and make sure that they get the opportunity.
3 coaches of color, Ron Rivera, Anthony Lynn, and Mike Tomlin.
The NFL said it has made great strides in advancing efforts to promote diversity and inclusion throughout the league, including at the head coaching position.
The NFL has really been stressing the need to diversify, to add diversity.
The Rooney Rule.
You have to interview a minority, and it has to be a legitimate interview. It can't be just a token thing. And, it's proven very, very effective.
Established in 2003, it mandates NFL teams speak with and interview at least one minority in the hiring process for head coach. However, research via the Global Sport Institute at Arizona State University paint a depressing picture of the state of the NFL.
Say hello to Joe Judge.
Coach Matt Rule will take over the reins in Carolina.
Before the Rooney Rule's enactment, the league averaged 2.23 coaches of color per season. After the 2003 season, it jumped to 3.76. Here's the breakdown. Offensive coordinator is the pipeline for NFL head coaching. In all, since 2009, 40% of head coaches left an OC position in the NFL. Here's the kicker. Coaches of color are disproportionately represented. In 2009, 9% of OCs were minorities. That figure has plummeted even lower to 3% in the 18-19 season. If this position is the pipeline, why are minorities not getting a fair shot? It starts with the hiring process. At least 77% of offensive coordinators hired each season were white. In the last decade, 4 of those 10 years reflected 0 diversity. Head coaches love getting a second chance. Guys like Pat Shurmur, Adam Gase, Doug Marrone, Bruce Arians, John Fox, Chip Kelly, and Mike Mularkey, to name a few, received them. In all, 14% of white coaches were hired as head coaches again the following season, compared with just 7% of coaches of color. For black head coaches specifically, of the 11 who were hired since the 2009 season, 8 have been fired. In the last 10 years, no team has hired back-to-back head coaches of color. 37% of teams have never, not once, hired a non-white coach. Those teams include the Falcons, Ravens, Bills, Cowboys, Texans, Jaguars, Rams, Patriots, Saints, Giants, Titans, and Washington. It gets worse. Younger white head coaches like Sean McVay are given chances at, and I'm not understating this, extremely higher rate than minorities, the study found. Furthermore, of new hires, white head coaches range from 57% to 100% of new hires in any given year, and coaches of color range from 0% to 43%. For defensive coordinators, that number is slightly higher, a total of 9 percentage points in 10 years. But considering there's only 1 DC per team, this rise equates to 3 new hires. Similarly, to younger head coaches, 74% of defensive coordinators under 40 for their first job are white, while a measly 26% reflect the same equation.
Just win, baby.
The famous words of the late Al Davis applies for some, but not all. What do I mean? For coaches with tenures of 5 or fewer seasons and a winning record, black head coaches averaged 2.2 seasons, while white coaches lasted 3.2 seasons, found the undefeated, an extension of ESPN. Currently in the NFL, there are 3 black head coaches: Mike Tomlin of the Steelers, who was nearly let go, Brian Flores of the Dolphins, and Anthony Lynn of the Chargers. Ron Rivera, of Puerto Rican and Mexican descent, was signed by Washington after his firing in Carolina. These low numbers make the Rooney Rule feel more like public relations than provocative policy, wrote one columnist, for which I concur. I understand the counterpoint. They're hiring who they know, who they entrust to build a model franchise. Bet. However, there are no black owners and only a single black general manager. In a league that spouts inspiring change, not much is happening at the top of the food chain. Representation matters. I wish the NFL felt the same. If you'd like to hear more thought-provoking content like TYT Sports on Facebook, and to help in my journey to keep media independent, go to tyt.com/Rick.